What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Vanilla Soup, and today we're going to be talking about the new dev update that just dropped just a few minutes ago. I just finished watching the whole 30-minute video, and yes, I am in a closet at work. I am taking a break to record this video because, man, I want to talk about Halo. This update is pretty huge. I can already tell without even having to go on the internet too much that it's going to be pretty divisive. I think, full transparency right away, I think that this update is good, even if it is bearing bad news. There's things that I don't like that's happening. There's things that they know we don't like is happening, but it is the reality of the situation. But there also is some really cool things coming, things they were able to talk about. Right away, I also want to talk about that there was no trailer for any content. There was just screenshots and concept art, which I think is a really odd choice. If you're going to edit a 30-minute dev update, why not at the end have someone on the team create a 45-second trailer, even if it's just a tease to Forge or something, because it just kind of felt weird. I don't know if I'm the only one that thinks that, but it does feel kind of weird. But let's jump into the meat of this update. The main goal, and I feel like the thing they talked about the most, is how they want to achieve seasonality is the word they used, which means more seasons. Right now, we're a year almost into the launch of Halo Infinite, and we've had 2 seasons, and it's going to only be 2 seasons, because Season 3, guess what, has been pushed back, which is, we kind of expected that at this point. But they want to get down to about 4 seasons a year, ideally. They said Season 3 isn't going to be as short as they want seasons to be, but it's going to be that first season that gets us down to like a shorter time frame on seasons. So I think that's at least something cool to look forward to from the seasonal standpoint. But they talked about like 4 pillars that they want to achieve, which is 1, being infinitely rewarding, 2, personal and welcoming, 3, competitive and fair, 4, stable and high quality. Also, excuse me for my voice. I'm dealing with this with a little bit of sickness too, but just want to get that out there. But yeah, so those 4 pillars: infinitely rewarding, personal, welcoming, competitive and fair, and stable and high quality. I mean, those are all things that we care about, right? I think it's also kind of weird that they chose to talk about these things so long rather than things that are things we want to hear, And so that's why I kind of go back to what I said at the beginning of the video. It's the reality of the situation. They don't have a lot of Forge content to show us. That must be the case. They must not have a lot of things to show us. I guess the only gameplay we really did see in this whole thing, now that I'm thinking about it more clearly, is they showed some highlights. They showed like one highlight from the campaign co-op flight, which brings me to another frustrating thing, I guess. Well, not I guess. It is frustrating. Split screen co-op officially is like not happening. I feel like the writing was on the wall with that. They've already talked about how they with the flight, it was just focused on like network co-op. But split screen co-op officially is not happening. I don't know how we got here. I honestly, this is probably the thing that makes me the most frustrated. As much as I love the team at 343 and as much as I love Halo, this is just inexcusable in my eyes. Like, why are we canceling split screen co-op when you know how much damage that did to your brand and to as a brand, not even just to your community for Halo 5? Like, come on, guys. Why are we leaving that behind? I don't get it. But that's kind of the thing that frustrates me the most, because that's how I am going to be able to play. I don't have 2 Xboxes, so if my wife and I want to play Halo Infinite together, I guess we're borrowing my brother's. Oh my gosh, I just hit something. But yeah, I'm like waving my arms in the closet. That's how excited I'm getting about this, I guess. But going back to the seasonality a little bit, they said they probably won't get there till the end of 2023. So I'm assuming, while this last year we've had 2 seasons, I'm assuming we're gonna have 3 next year by the time frame. They talked about a winter update, which is okay. I guess it's going to have a Forge beta, which is going to be awesome. It's going to have the network campaign co-op and replay. It's looking like the full launch of that. Again, I don't think you can call it a full launch of co-op unless if couch co-op is involved, but that's a video for another day, I guess. They're going to integrate Match XP. They're calling it a beta, which I think is really interesting. I don't know why you have to call Match XP a beta. Just release Match XP and say, hey, we're going to take feedback if it's not exactly to your liking. It doesn't have to, not everything has to be a beta for Halo. I feel like the whole freaking season, the whole year of Halo Infinite has been beta. So why not just call Halo Infinite beta? I don't know. but then they also talk about adding like new campaign achievements, which I think is warranted. I know a lot of people have been wanting for that. I'm not an achievement hunter myself. But if it gives people that hunt those things some more like playtime and more things to work for, that's great. I think that's awesome. It's not for me, but hey, whatever. This holiday update, this winter update, is coming November 8th. I think that is a terrible date. I think that is oh man, I get it. Like, they want to get it to us as soon as possible, and that's probably as soon as they think they can get it to us. Halo Infinite has struggled with dates hardcore. Last year was a really weird launch because of that, but November 8th, Skull and Bones from Ubisoft comes out, a game I'm personally looking really looking forward to. But the next day, you have God of War Ragnarok dropping, and then 2 weeks before, approximately, I believe it's 2 weeks before, you have Modern Warfare 2 coming out. So it's like, oh my gosh, you cannot be dropping that at a worse time for the content that's actually coming out. Like, if Forge was actually launching, not just a beta, okay, maybe, but it's just a beta. We're going to have very limited features, but that's neither here nor there at this point. It is what it is. Again, it's the reality of the situation, so, yeah, that's all I can say. It is what it is. They talked about, for that holiday update, there's going to be a new map for Arena, which is going to be, I think all these new maps, by the way, look really cool, because there's 2 new maps that they showed a little bit of for the winter update, and then when they talked about Season 3, they talked about 2 more maps. So for the winter update, which are separate, by the way, I know that was confusing for me for a little bit, but I thought the winter update was Season 3, but they clarified later, like, Season 3 is later. But yeah, the new maps there's going to be 1 arena map, a new big team battle map. The arena map is going to have a dual grapple spawn and dual sniper spawn, which I think is really cool. And then the big team battle map, it's going to incorporate what they call the Island of Power, which I think is a super cool idea. It's kind of like the loot caves in the game already, but it's on its own island. So it's going to have a teleporter to get there, which I think is sick, because finally we're getting a teleporter in Halo Infinite. I just love that idea, like, high risk of going out in the middle of nowhere on an island to get, like, maybe a rocket launcher and some camo. Oh, there's some other guys there now too. You have to fight for it. I love that idea. That's the thing. Like, at the end of the day, we can be frustrated, but there's some really cool things in these updates. So I think that's something we just have to remember, that there's some really cool things that we're excited for. I already kind of talked about the beta XP, but I have a note here just because they brought it up again. So it is what it is. So yeah, all of this stuff that we've talked about so far in the video, it's coming before Season 3. And then a lot of it is just in beta, like the Forge beta, like the beta for XP. It's all coming in the winter update, winter holiday update. I'm using that term exchangeably. So that's on November 8th, but then all this stuff will officially launch on the launch date of Season 3, which I think that's fine. Like, that's a good cadence, but again, like, I don't know why everything in their dog has to be a beta. Beta male, more like. I don't know, my humor is cracking through today, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, so and they also talked about, like, adding new 10-tier events, so, like, more fractures, more, Cyber Showdown, all that stuff. I want Cyber Showdown to come back. I didn't get to finish that one. I was really busy when that time period was going on, so I didn't really get to play. But yeah, moving on to Season 3. It's called Echoes Within, and it launches March 7th. I have no complaints about that date, personally. I think that's fine right now. Stake a claim, right? You know? Season 3 is going to be shorter than the other seasons, which is good. You know, that's moving in the right direction. On the website, it says March 7th through June 27th. So it's about 3.5 months. You know, that's a step in the right direction. If we have a 3.5 month season, you know, that leaves us, you know, about room for 3 seasons a year, you know, just shy. About 3 seasons a year. Well, no, actually, no, that should warrant a 4th, but I wonder if they're planning on doing, like, a little bit of off-season. Oh, yes, sorry. I just put it together. because it's starting in March, yeah, it'll be about 3 seasons next year. So my theory is correct, I feel like. But Season 3 is going to still have the free and paid battle passes, so that's not changing. Even though they are introducing the XP gain and level progression through the beta and then through Season 3, we're still going to have battle passes, which I think is fine, especially for a free-to-pay model. But we should be able to move forward to the battle pass much quicker now, which I think is awesome, because I'm tired of both the seasonal battle pass and the 10-tier passes. Like, we're getting locked. Like, oh, you've already played your limit of Halo Infinite. Go play something else now. It's like, no, I want to keep playing. I'm having fun. Let me keep grinding for this thing that I want. Don't limit how much fun I can have. It's just weird. But yeah, then it talked about, and that's another thing. Like, I with the XP gain, an XP rank up system, it makes me wonder if challenge limits in general are just going to go away. Like, you'll just continually get challenges for seasons, and maybe for the 10-tier passes, I should say. They talked about the custom game browser launching then. They're not. It didn't seem like they were super sure on that, but I could be wrong. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong on that one. They're going to introduce in-game reporting, which I think is great. They're going to bring 2 new maps for Season 3 as well. So there's going to be one big team battle map and an arena map. The big team battle map, they said, is the biggest big team battle map they have in Halo Infinite. So I wonder if we're talking like Warzone size, which I think would be awesome. But this map is going to embrace vehicle combat more. So that's great. I'm a big fan of that. And then the arena map is going to be a snow map. Oh my gosh, I love Halo snow maps. So I think that's going to be really cool. It's going to have a grav launcher too. Joseph Staten was talking about like it's going to have like a grav launcher onto the other side. It's going to be like high risk, high reward. We've seen that before in Halo, so like that's not super new, but the fact that we're kind of seeing that like launching into the enemy's side for the grav lift is going to be really cool. They're going to include 2 new modes, the VIP and Escalation. Oh, which actually reminds me, I didn't talk about this before, but in the holiday update, they are including a new mode as well, which this is actually one of the things I'm most excited about, so I'm really surprised at myself for forgetting, but it's going to be a new mode. It's going to be spy focused. They named it, but the name is escaping me right now. But it's like a spy focus, and it's asymmetric loadouts. One team it's like the infiltrators. They're going to have energy swords and unlimited threat sensors, while the defending team is going to have unlimited camo and sidekicks and pulse carbines. I think that's going to be really cool. Like, slow down the gameplay, like, be really tactical about it. That's really cool. Okay, but jumping back to Season 3, we're getting the 2 new modes. It's going to be called VIP and Escalation. So we've kind of seen that before. I'm wondering if they're going to put spins on that spins on that now. The new weapon, Bandit Rifle, and should be coming in Season 3, which is that Halo Reach DMR without the scope. It's kind of weird, but they said that they wanted it to focus more on like short range combat, which I think is fine, because they have they have some weapons already that can kind of ping you from far distances. So it's not really necessary that we have another tool in the sandbox that does that. But then also equipment side, they're going to introduce the Shroud Screen, which we've seen leaks of before, but you can't see in and you can't see out. It's about area denial. And also, if you're inside, you do not show up on enemy threat sensors. So I think that's really cool as well. I just really like the Shroud Screen in general. I just want to emphasize that. I think that's a really unique, fresh, and cool piece of equipment. That's really all they talked about. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments below. But to give my thoughts, like overall, now that we've kind of done the TLDR, I think that this update was, again, it was pretty good, but there's some things that are not so great. But it is what it is. I think, personally, they need to be working on doing these updates, even if it's not a 30-minute one like it was today, even if it was just a 10-minute update, they need to be doing that like once a month. They need to say, okay, this is where we're at with this. Here's a little tease, and we can show you in-game, like maybe even in their development software, like, hey, this is where we're at. Like, we're currently working on bugs for this, or, I remember when Sea of Thieves was going through its first year of content drought, and that was something that the players for Sea of Thieves relied on so heavily, is to have like a monthly dev update where they could talk to different people in the studio with respective jobs. Maybe it was like you're talking to someone that's working on bugs, or someone that's working on like new quests for Sea of Thieves. But in this respect, it could be like, oh, we're working on multiplayer, we're working on campaign, we're working, whatever. And we're updating you every month on this. So even if the seasons are longer, even if things get pushed back, at least we are aware more like readily. I feel like Halo Infinite this last year, while they've done a good job at least of letting us know that things are going on, I feel like us as fans deserve, and players of the game deserve, to be regularly updated. Like, oh, on the third Thursday of every month, we are going to get a dev interview of some kind. We need that. Like, if you're talking about transparency 343, like, we need more regular updates about updates, because even if things aren't happening, like you say in your videos, like, you guys are working on it. It's not falling on deaf ears. Well, you need to give that feedback to us as well. You need to reach out to us as players and say, okay, this is how it's coming along, because that is like pivotal to why I stayed involved in Sea of Thieves, why I was so passionate about that, why I love that dev team so much, and why we love you guys so much, because you've done that before. Maybe not to that extent, but you've clearly shown the willingness to come and talk to the players and fans, and we appreciate that, but we really need it more regularly. All right, guys, I think that's it for everything I wanted to voice during this video. I'm going to slap some gameplay on this because I'm at work, so taking just a brief break before the shop opens to kind of like talk about this today. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts on the new dev update. What are you excited about? What makes you happy? What makes you sad? I know for me, the biggest bummer was the campaign split screen co-op being, axed. Like I said, we kind of already knew that already, but it just feels more finite now, more official. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And until next time, I'll see you online. Vanilla Soup, out.